Militant unionism in Belfast is localized in two communities. The Shankill, a mile-and-a-half road that lies just around the corner from the Catholic Falls Road, and the hyper-British Protestant enclaves of East Belfast. In the 1970s, the Shankill was ground zero for loyalist paramilitaries, famously home to the Shankill Butchers, a bloodthirsty group of killers that targeted random Catholics for torture and execution. And in 1993, the IRA blew up a chip shop on the Shankill, killing 9 Protestants. Today, both the Shankill and East Belfast are relatively peaceful. The locals are friendly and accommodating. But with these monuments and murals celebrating Ulster's contribution to World War I and, more threateningly, various Protestant paramilitaries, it can feel like an earlier, uglier decade. Alistair introduced us to Rab, a very connected and very influential guy in East Belfast, who attempted to explain the palpable anger we were witnessing so many years after the Good Friday Agreement.
Unfortunately, in these interface areas, on both sides of the fence, it hasn't moved on for these people because one stone, one brick is too much. There's no peace process for these people.
When we were talking to Alistair, and he was saying that this kind of stuff is not the kind of laundering of the 12th, but is to make the 12th more of a family type exercise, more for the kids, more looking towards the history of Ulster, whereas it's trying to get away from something like this, which is more sectarian and more. What do you think of that?
Well, even down here, if you went back 5 or 6 years ago, you'd have had mass men out and you'd have had shows of strength, right? And you would have had all types of different paramilitaries at these here bonfires having a show of strength. Them days is well gone.
For those who aren't from Northern Ireland, tags are Catholics.
Yes.
So kill all Catholics. That seems pretty provocative.
It does, but whenever you go to the backdrop of what's happened here over the last couple of weeks, you have to remember from the Catholic Church across the road there was actually 3 shots fired. There was actually a newspaper photographer that was shot, and there was 2 individuals from this community who were also shot and wounded. So, that's a sort of direct response to that, I would say. If there was no shots coming from the nationalist community, then people wouldn't be, get back to this sort of rhetoric again of kill all takes.
On the ground in East Belfast, we were a long way from the language of the peace process. Officially, paramilitary activity is an unwanted relic of the past, a danger to the future. But in working-class Protestant and Catholic neighborhoods throughout the city, we heard endless tales of attacks by sectarian enemies and the worthlessness of the police force.
I hold my hand up to them guys, and I don't care what anyone in the short strand says. See, if they have to come out and protect me, then I hold my hands up and say, well done.
I'm still at school. I'm wanting to do my A-levels. I'm wanting to go to university, and I want to make something in my life. But one thing that still matters to me is my community, is my heritage and culture, and I would rather defend my heritage and culture than go to university.
We were quietly told earlier in the day that it would be inadvisable to show up at certain bonfires uninvited, with a camera crew in tow. So we went with Rab to a bonfire in his neighborhood. He cleared the way, and everyone, we soon discovered, listened to Rab.
Good small bonfire, isn't it? We built it. I built it. I didn't do anything. I'm just throwing things in. We're dancers. We're rocking it!
We call them tags, but they call us huns.
Right. When someone calls you a hun, how does it make you feel?
Just slobber back to them. Just don't like them. The ratting's funny, it's funny to watch, but it's bad, because it's destroying everything.
It wrecks the community and all people's houses.
And I know someone who gets hit in the ankle, and I'm not saying any names.
What did he get hit with?
A plastic.
It was a real bullet. That was a real bullet.
A plastic bullet about that height.
Rab took us into the local community center to listen to the bands warming up for tomorrow's parade and pumping up the crowd with songs celebrating their Britishness. The bonfire organizers seemed to be experienced in the art of Molotov cocktail production. and they generously allowed me, after a bit of pleading, to take part in the burning of this tower of flags, political posters, and symbols of Catholicism.
I do want to point out that there's a big canister of petrol right there. Everybody seems to be okay so far, but I'm anticipating a major accident and major burns. But it's all for William of Orange. We're throwing the first petrol bomb of the night. All right. Like it's heaving.
Now you need to let it.
My first Molotov cocktail or petrol bomb experience, I was a bit anticlimactic because it was a kind of a shitty throw, but they lit it while they were explaining how to throw it. It just was on fire. I had to get rid of it.
Everywhere we turned, there were gasoline cans just inches from enormous, terrifying fires, kids full of cider falling off of flaming pallets. But it was a friendly, drunken crowd, a happy celebration amongst tribal peers.
Remember 1690, King Billy's on the wall.
Now there are slogans painted in red, white, and blue.
But this was the night before the July 12th march, a warm-up for the main event. The real action would be tomorrow, the day of Northern Ireland's most contentious parade, when Protestants march and, in a few areas of the city, Catholics try to confront them. And all of this only weeks after another major flare-up of sectarian violence in Belfast.
He stands so high, shines so bright, he lights up the balls. There's millions come to see him, they stand and gaze and all. They remember 1690, King Billy's on the ball.